Welcome everyone, welcome back to another video. In this one we finally finished my front door cards. It's been an absolute mission to get done, but we've finally finished one of them. I know the process. Now it's time to show you how I did it. I did so much research online, couldn't find the best way to do it. Some were super difficult by stitching and cutting up into different pieces and stuff. Others just didn't work, which I tried and found out pretty quick. But this process, I think I've nailed pretty well. It worked really well for the first one. So this could be a long video because there's a lot of steps, it took multiple days to finish it. But hopefully you can all take on this video. Hey, it might be the only video right now that actually goes step by step on how to do an E36 door card. So sit back, you're gonna need to, it takes a while, but hopefully afterwards you know exactly what to do. So make sure you stay tuned on this one. We'll see you during the video on how to get this done. But thanks for watching. Okay, so first things first, we basically want to get into a state that's ready to start the vinyl process. So to begin with, I've taken out the plastic pockets that I just glue in here. They're normally just glued on. Mine had obviously been played with before. It had like some silicone, it had some other glue, looked like Gorilla Glue. It had a few different types holding those puppies on. But removing them is pretty easy. If you need to use a bit of heat, you can, but it's pretty easy. Next part is just going to be removing this old vinyl. And I mean, this stuff is pretty easy. Like, it's almost falling off already, so you can see I can almost just start peeling this back. It's super easy. So I'll remove this now. I can literally just do it by hand and it's coming off easy. So we'll see you in a second. Okay, now all the old vinyl's off. We're left with just the clean shell of the door card. You'll notice if it's like mine, it'll generally come off pretty clean, but in some instances it just leaves a little bit of old vinyl left. So we just want to make sure we get rid of all those, so then when we do put the new vinyl on, it's nice and smooth. Any lumps that you see now will actually transfer and you'll see it underneath the new vinyl. So we want to make sure that these are perfectly smooth, as smooth as we can get them, and then that'll make sure the vinyl we put on looks perfect. So I'm just going to go through it now, make sure everything's flat, and then we're on to the next step. Okay, now the panel's all clean and smooth, it's time for the hardest part, and that's going to be putting the vinyl on. Again, this is where I had a few attempts, a few failures, but I think I've nailed the process now. So what we're going to need for this, we're going to need two pieces of vinyl. We're going to need one long thin strip and one larger strip that's going to basically cover most of it. Now we need the two pieces because the larger piece is going to take care of most of the panel, but my main issue was these pockets in here. I just couldn't, going straight over the top and doing the whole thing, I couldn't stretch the fabric in these enough without causing issues where it'd bunch up and I'd have creases, and I was stumped until I had an idea of what if we did it in two pieces. So what I found, the issue was that when I was putting it in, it was bunching up in this piece, and I could get it sitting into the pockets nice, but then there'd be a massive crease line along here. So in my latest attempt that actually worked, I figured out, well, what if I just do the top parts like so, and then where it's going to bunch up, there is no bunch because there's nothing there, and then just cut straight lines across here, here, and in this corner here, and then with the second piece of vinyl, once that's all set, and basically the rest of the panel's all in place, grab my second piece of vinyl, and that can go along the front like this, and then just have a little crease line here where it overlaps. So as you can see here in the one that's finished, one main piece, and then the crease line on these pieces in here. And I think it's come out, it looks really good. I mean, it looks like it's meant to be that way. So that is the plan. So let's get started. I'm going to start with this pocket here first. And to do that, we're going to start the gluing. I'm using the CRC F2 adhesive, contact adhesive, in basically the liquid format, so not the spray, and then just basically have a brush. If I need to, I've got a heat gun that's just going to, in the corners where it does stretch a little bit, The heat gun just allows it to stretch a little bit more, but if we do it well, we're not going to need too much heat. And we're just going to start by laying the contact adhesive inside this first half of the pocket, and then we're going to do our half of the fabric, and then we're going to let that tack off, get nice and hard and, well, sort of quite reasonably dry and tacky, and then we're going to work in one half, then we'll bring it back, put the contact adhesive on the other half, do that half, and you can see how when I don't have to do this piece, I can actually get this to form in that pocket really nicely. Okay, so now this is tacked off. Like, this is dry to touch, but it's a little sticky. Same with this. It's dry to touch, but it's tacky. Slowly work it in. I'm going to try and get this bit in here is the most important part, so this corner. So we're just going to work our way into there first. And ideally, if we don't need to use heat, the better off we'll be. And you can take your time. Take your time and be nice and methodical in your work. Really just going to make sure we're getting in there nice and tight. Again, the less stress you can put on this, the better off you're going to be for when it gets hot in the car, which it will. Summer days, it's going to get warm. So the less stress it's under now, the less it's going to like pop back off. So if we look, we've done this corner. Now, if this whole vinyl was covered in here, you just couldn't get this piece in here, and it was always bubbling. I couldn't get it to sit in there nicely. But doing this part and allowing this bit just to go down through here, we'll trim this in the next step once we've tucked in this other corner. But it just makes it so much better in this corner piece. So we're gonna flip it over, glue this side and this, and get this other corner done. Okay, now we're ready to do this next corner. So again, this is tacky, that's tacky. I'm going to feed it in, making sure we get to that inside corner with as least tension as possible. And to be fair, if you take your time, it's pretty simple. You just got to slowly work it in, making sure that everything's nice and smooth. And then we're in great shape there. Again, so there's your finished pocket. It's all, again, nice in here, nice and smooth down in there, and nice and smooth in the pocket as well. Next up, we're going to do this piece in here, and we'll glue all this half as well. So we'll do in here and this half of the pocket. Okay, so this is now tacky again. Do the next section. You can see basically it's a long process, taking a lot of time. Like, it'll probably take me an hour to do this whole line, but then once that's all done, then the rest is easy. So let's pop this over. I'm going to come back and forth doing the rest of it, but key is just to get in the deep parts first and then smooth it out the rest of the way, and it's actually pretty easy. Then once the pockets are done, the rest of this just comes over the top. You can do decent chunks at a time, and you're actually going to make it look really good. So let's do this side now, and we'll keep trucking along. Okay, so that's the pockets done, and again, really stoked with how they come out. I'll get you a close up here, but basically there's no lifting from the inside of the corners here. Everything's flat, everything's even. You'll see this is a bit of an angle, but that'll be cut straight along with these edges too. And now it's just time to work up the rest of the panel. So simply just, now this is kind of the easy part. Now it's just folding this back and working our way, folding this back and working our way up the rest of the panel. So if you can do this, but this top piece, so if you can do the bottom piece, this top piece is piece of cake. So yeah, we're gonna work through there. There's a little sort of depression in here for the, I guess the door handle where you go in and open the door. Leave yourself a little bit of room for that, but other than that, just basically do it in sections, fold it over, do it in sections, fold it over. And here you don't really need to do anything because we're going to cut that anyway. We'll cut it sort of on the edges of basically the interior little piece. And don't worry about the holes of the speakers, go right over those and then we'll cut them out afterwards. But yeah, we'll see you once all this is covered, but it's a piece of cake. Okay, it's the next day, and we made some great progress yesterday, so you can see where we're at. We've done the vinyl on the full top piece and the pockets. Now we've just got this little piece here, this little piece down the bottom to finish off, and then all the vinyl is done. So that's what we're going to do today, followed by the insert for the insert of the door card, and then all the stuff on the back side of things. So by the end of today, we'll be ready to put this guy back in the car. Now for this bottom piece, we need a piece of vinyl like that. This is about 20 centimeters in width. That's just to cover this bottom piece. Now on this bottom piece of vinyl, I've drawn a line at 2 centimeters from the straight edge of the vinyl. We want to use the straight side of things, just so that fold that we're going to do to it is going to be nice and level the whole way around. So you'll see here on the video that I have a line 2 centimeters away from that straight edge. Once I have that line across the whole piece, I'm going to lay it out to where I want things to be. Okay, so now you can see my line. We're going to line this up to where we want it to be. So just basically over the edge of the inside of the door card, and I want to overlap this to have about an inch worth of overlap, so that we can fold underneath. So that's where we're going to set things up. Now you can imagine, so we have a nice edge, we're going to fold this over so that it lines up with that line, like so. We only want this folded edge to be on the piece of the door card that you actually see. Once we get into the pockets, we're going to need some of this vinyl to then wrap around on the inside and stick to the inside. If we did the folded edge right along, you wouldn't have enough to then fold underneath. So where I'm going to be, I'm going to set this up to where I want it to be, pretend it's all folded over, and where I want that fold to finish, I'm just going to put a little mark. So you can see I've put that mark there, just in there, and that's where I want my fold to finish. so that when this is all folded and I come to put it on the actual car, that's where it's going to fold away and it's going to tuck underneath like so. Then I want to do the same for the other piece on this side, where it, again, where it's going to be folded, I want it to stop being folded there, and that's where it's going to come unfolded and be pretty good shape. So I'm going to pop my mark there, and I'm just going to work my way down it again where I want my fold to finish. This doesn't have to be perfect, because you can work at it while you're doing it, but marking out now makes it easier for later. And then I'm going to do my mark here, fold it over. I want my fold to finish about there, and then we're good to go. And now that it's marked out, I'm just going to glue the area that we've marked off on the pen with our contact adhesive, and then fold the points over where, in between where my marks are. So I'm going to basically there, there, and there. Okay, now we've got our folded edge. Time to stick it to the bottom of the panel. So we're going to start with, I'm just going to start on this side here. We're going to just glue, maybe put an inch of glue on the base and an inch of glue on the new piece of vinyl, and just get this folded edge down as straight as we can. Once we've done that, we'll then glue the entire, like so maybe 2 centimeters of the pocket and 2 centimeters of the new piece of vinyl, and do the same. And just so we can get that edge to fold over and around. Then we're going to repeat the process for the rest of things, but with this middle piece of the folded edge and then the far end with the folded edge, and we'll be then ready after that to glue the whole thing and put the whole piece of vinyl down. So that's what we're up to next. Okay, now that all the vinyl is glued to the door card, our last piece is the insert. Now, as you can see, I've already covered this insert in the M-Rain fabric. If you want to check out how to do this, just check out one of my previous videos. I'll link it in the description below. But this one's actually pretty straightforward. It's a lot easier than all the curves in the vinyl. Only thing that's a little bit difficult is getting this sort of piece in here. So I'd recommend starting on this, and then everything else is actually pretty easy, and you'll be able to work it into place without too many problems. So we are going to glue this piece in. To do that, just got some Gorilla Glue, so we'll pop that on. Easy just to put it on the door card itself, getting all the areas. One thing that I've found the best way to do this is to try and not get too close to like the edges, because the Gorilla Glue does grow a little bit as it dries, and as it forms the bond, it does want to creep out, and then if it creeps out, you'll basically start seeing glue on the edges of the insert, which is what we don't want. I found out that the hard way on one of the ones for the back, so I had to redo that. But this takes 24 hours to cure nicely, so we're going to glue this in and then leave it, and that'll be it for today. Then once you come back tomorrow, this will all be all dry and secure. Then we'll pop the pits on the last sort of things like the pockets on the back and the brackets on the back, and then we can pop it in the car and the door cards are done. So yeah, we're getting there, we're getting there. Okay, now finally the door card is done. And I mean, yeah, as you can see, it's awesome. It's a million times better than what it was when we started. So yeah, super stoked. Now, all we have to do now is mount it to the door. Now, if any of you have these door cards or know what an E36 is like, you'll know that, yeah, these plastic pieces on the side aren't too bad. They're normally fine. But this bracket that runs along the top just is shocking. It breaks, it cracks. Mine was like in about 10 pieces when I pulled this door card off. So they do make aluminium replacements. So that's what we have here. Now, the way to do this, rather than trying to mount this first and just pray to God that all these basically these holes here line up with the clips on the door itself, the idea is we're going to actually mount this to the door first, glue up all inside here, and then stick the door on and just let it, when the door sits in the door, it's just going to sit there and it's just going to glue naturally like that. So that's what we're going to do next. Now back to the door card. We're going to glue all in here, for this is where that metal piece is going to stick. Again, this is just our Gorilla Glue, because this stuff is sticky as, it's so sticky. We'll put a little bead up on there. It also gives us lots of time to work with this. It takes kind of 3 hours to stick, and then 24 hours to actually cure. So it's going to give us plenty of time and workability to get this in. Okay, you'll also notice that I've got new clips. So all these door card clips are new and fresh. I'm also missing one piece, and that's the cover that goes around here. So I've ordered a new one of those, but it hasn't arrived yet. And I kind of want to get this at least fitted into this bit secure. So we're going to do that now. And then at a later date, once this cover arrives, we'll pull it off again and put the cover and the dust cover in place. But for now, we're going to attach our speakers. So there's our speaker wires. And then we're going to start with the clips down on the bottom. Now we've got to make sure this aerial, the door lock is in the right spot. Poke it through its little hole, just like that. Okay, so there you have it. That is the finished door card. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so happy that we finally got this done. This actually took over a month to figure out, so super stoked that it's finally finished. Both door cards are in, and I couldn't be happier. This is only a couple more things to tie this interior, and then we're actually in really good shape. So this car's coming along, and I love it. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Subscribe for more content, and I'm looking forward to what's next.